Not one, not two, but three very sinister events. This morning, President Trump is demanding an investigation into what he calls triple sabotage at the United Nations. The sinister events he is referencing are an escalator that briefly stopped working, a faulty teleprompter, man, do I know that type of evil, and some audio issues during his speech. The president's press secretary told Fox News the technical mishaps, quote, do not look like a coincidence. Here now, Democratic strategist Julie Rajinski and CNN senior political commentator, Republican strategist David Urban. My question is this. There's a war in Ukraine. There are hostages in Gaza. I mean, how many resources should be devoted to teleprompter gate?
All of them, because there's nothing else in Donald Trump's orbit other than the grievance towards Donald Trump. I mean, that's the fundamental problem with this president, is that he actually thinks it's all about him. And I don't, look, he might be right that these are kind of coincidental, a little too coincidental, but so what? So what? You go to Washington, the escalator doesn't work, you walk up a few flights of stairs. It's not a big deal. You go and the teleprompter fails, we've all been there. And by the way, this is the president who made fun of Barack Obama, as you recall, for using a prompter and said he'd never use a prompter. I'm old enough to remember that. And so, look, as you point out, there are serious issues going on that require the president's attention. And yet it's constantly about him and the grievance towards him and the grievance towards his base. And the truth of the matter is, the rest of us don't have time for that. There are real issues going on in the world. Let's focus on those and not about what Donald Trump thinks is aggrievement towards him.
Yeah, and David, one defense I have not heard yet this morning, maybe I will find it if I look more, is sometimes you get allies of the president say, oh, he's just trolling the media. He's just trolling this. I don't think that they're saying that this time. This seems somewhat serious. So how high does this rank on the level of concerns for you this morning, David? How much sleep did you lose?
John, not a lot. I will say this, however, I do believe that it was, as Julie points out, just a little too coincidental that the escalator's working, and then as soon as Melania, the first lady, puts a foot on the escalator, it automatically stops. I mean, it is there are no ghosts in the machine that do, that shut down things that well. And then go to the teleprompter. Look, I think someone was trying to get in his head, screw with the guy while there at the United Nations General Assembly. And I think, look, is it the biggest thing in the world? No. But should someone at the UN probably lose their job from trying to sabotage the president of the United States? I think so. And whether or not it's appropriate for the president of the United States to be, kind of weighing in on this and grinding down on it, or somebody else on his staff, I think someone should be fired there for doing that to the president. If they did it to any other head of state, they'd be called to task for it. And I think similarly, they should be called to task for this.
On the subject of the president weighing in on things, let's talk, David, about James Comey, former FBI director, who, by all accounts, the U.S. attorney in Virginia may try to indict as soon as today. What are your feelings about this? Not so much on the merits of it. We had a legal segment about that just a moment ago. But given that President Trump himself, just days ago, basically told the attorney general he wanted to see this happen.
Yeah, look, John, you're not going to get Jim Comey's not going to get sympathy from me. I think he's a really bad guy. You saw what he said on numerous occasions about General Flynn, how he basically entrapped General Flynn. Mike Flynn is a good man. He was trying to cooperate. He was, thought he was doing the right thing. And as Julia knows, when FBI agents come in to talk to you initially, they don't bring a tape recorder. They bring their memories. And so when they show up the first time to talk to you, they go back and write something down. The second time they talk to you, they write something down, their recollections of what occurred. And then poof, you're now, you've now perjured yourself. And so, Jim Comey laughed about it. He bragged about how he was able to send these FBI agents in and kind of screw with Mike Flynn. You heard him. Listen, I sat in the CNN studios for hours and watched Jim Comey testify before Congress and lie before Congress. I watched him say that, he leaked classified information to the New York Times so that that make sure there was an investigation. He's a bad guy. I think karma is, well, you know what they say about karma, John.
I will say, David, you've just made a compelling case for why you are aggrieved, and I'm not putting connotations around that word with James Comey, but you're not the president of the United States, and he has done the same here. talking about his grievance with the former FBI director, and he put out that statement to the Attorney General, Julie, where said, I've reviewed more than 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time, all talk, no action, nothing is being done. What about Comey and others? They're all guilty as hell, but nothing being done. So the fact of the president weighing in before perhaps the prosecution.
Well, David just laid out exactly why this is wrong. I mean, karma is not the reason you indict somebody. You indict somebody because they potentially broke the law. And the reality is that, you can hate Jim Comey. You can think Mike Flynn is the greatest guy in the world. I happen to think at best he's a Russian useful idiot. At worst, he's something more. But the reality is that that's not why you indict somebody. You indict somebody for breaking a crime. And I will say this. I happen to think Donald Trump's a really bad guy. I happen to think a lot of people in his movement are really bad people. Does that mean that I think they should be indicted? Only if the law shows that they should be. But right now, that's not what we're hearing from Republicans. We're hearing from Republicans that, karma is a you-know-what. Well, karma should not be in charge of the Justice Department. Prosecutors should be in charge of the Justice Department.
You know what, John? I would ask Julie this. Do you not think that Jim Comey perjured himself before Congress?
I don't know. I have no idea whether Jim Comey perjured himself. You know who else doesn't know? Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Listen,
Julie, watch the tape like everybody else.
David, I'm not a fan of Jim Comey. I think what he did to Hillary Clinton in 2016 is the reason that he finds himself in this mess today. So you're not going to get a defense of Jim Comey, the man, from me. Yeah. What you're going to get is the fact that the President of the United States does not get to tell the Justice Department who they should indict. And when prosecutors prior to the current one say there's no case to be made here, and all of a sudden he finds another useful idiot who's going to do his will rather than what the law requires, I have problems with that. It could be you next, David. The next time there's a Democratic president, it could be you. You don't want to be in that situation.
Julie, I got hunted. Myself and my colleagues in the first administration got hunted by Jim Comey wrongfully. And Julie, the Justice Department doesn't indict anybody. The grand jury indicts people.
Okay.
It's a grand jury.
Come on, a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich. You know that.
I think actually this has been a terrific conversation, and I want to thank you both for being part. No, really, because it's actually been a very interesting back and forth that I think illuminates the issue very well, and I do appreciate it. I just want to end. We do know that the former now U.S. attorney did not think this was a provable case, and that there are reports that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche feels similarly. But that is a very specific claim right there. Julie Rajinski, David Urban, really, I do appreciate the discussion this morning. Thank you very much.